Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Let's Get Real podcast. My name is Eric Laudio, your favorite realtor, a.k.a. Cloud E, or non-generic Eric, because I keep it real with you. Welcome to the Let's Get Real podcast. We interview interesting, fun, and successful individuals who have devoted themselves to their craft in order to share with you what people are really doing to live happy, fulfilling lives in today's world. Today's guest is a self-made man that didn't let where he come from determine his destination. A successful entrepreneur in the real estate industry for over 26 years with an inspiring story of struggle and perseverance. His positive attitude and mentality radiates with every conversation you have with him. He's an open book and valuable resource for over 400 real estate agents. Please help me welcome my friend, my coach, and the team leader of Keller Williams South Bay, Simon Cazares. Let's get a little clap going, get a little excited.
Wow, what an intro.
You like that, huh? I like to fluff up my guests a little bit, make them feel nice and warm.
You definitely did, my man. I feel very special. So thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the show.
I love this. I love the setup, and thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
Great.
Just came back from a beautiful vacation out in Colorado, so the chill factor here is nothing compared to Colorado.
Right.
So this is good.
Nice and refreshed. Nice and let the world know what we do, huh?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So, Simon, I wanted to start off by kind of just talking about how you and I met, right?
Yeah.
So I've been in real estate 8 years. I was working with an individual in office for most of my career. Mm-hmm. Last year, I was shopping around for offices, and I decided with Keller Williams South Bay, which is where we are right now.
That's right.
And that was August 2023. It's January 2024. And throughout that, I came in through Carlos, right? Shout out Carlos. And
Shout out to Carlos, my man.
And
yes.
And then through there, I just met with you. And then just a few weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I got to have a sit down with Simon. Right, I was like, I want to see what Simon's about. He's the leader of this place, and
it was not just a sit down; it was actually hands-on, rolling up our sleeves, right, and just in the trenches of just not just reflecting in real estate, but also our backgrounds too. So it was an amazing conversation we had.
Exactly,
for sure.
And it really inspired me, Simon. And I was like, you know what, I want to start off the year strong with a strong guest on the podcast. I was like, we got to get Simon on here.
I appreciate
you doing this, and I just wanted to go over that real quick. But Simon, I wanted you to start off by sharing with the people your story in your own words.
I love it. Well, we're going to be here for hours if that's the case. I'll try to condense it a little bit,
right,
to make it impactful. You know, my journey starts 27 years ago. As a real estate salesperson, you know, not knowing that real estate was going to be my ultimate niche,
right,
and ultimate destiny. And I definitely have a passion for what I do. I mean, it's not simple, but if you're willing to sacrifice, you're willing to put in the effort, you're willing to do whatever it takes, opportunities are going to hit your way.
Yes.
So, you know, my story didn't start in real estate. My story starts, you know, in a different profession. I was in law enforcement prior to getting into real estate. I remember I was 23, graduated the Sheriff's Academy, and that was the ultimate decision.
Right.
And my goal that I wanted to do. You know, my big vision at the time was to be a homicide detective. Mm-hmm. And I was so focused and so dedicated to that. And then, you know, life changes happens, and that altered. I was 24 when I got my real estate license. But the funny thing, Eric, it wasn't that I wanted to get into real estate and help buyers, sellers. It's really I wanted to understand the elements of contracts and negotiations.
Right.
That was the key, because ultimately my big vision was to be an investor, buy, sell, and hold. So I says, well, what better way is go through the motions, go through the trenches, learn as much as you possibly can, and get that real estate license.
Everything is business, isn't it, Simon?
Yep.
I've thought about this. I'm like, you know what? Anything you decide to do, it's all marketing. It's all in negotiation. We've been negotiating since we were kids.
That's right.
Right? Like, I think about you want to go out. You're in high school. You want to go out to the Friday night party. you better make sure those dishes are done. You clean the house, so when your mom gets home from work, you're asking permission, and you're like, Mom, A, B, C is done. That's a negotiation, you know. So I think it's interesting that that was what attracted you to real estate, just learning to be a businessman.
Absolutely. Right? And spot on, Eric. And I go back to my humbling youth, because I think I have a little bit of my parents. And what I mean by this is that my mom was the stern, the negotiator. And my father was the charismatic, charming individual. And I think I got a blend of both of them.
Nice.
So that definitely helps me who I am now because of both my parents, And ironically, you're right. I think we were instilled, sales and work ethics from our parents. Right. I know that at the time when I was a kid and I was in the truck or in the van, because my mom used to go door to door sales.
Really?
Yeah.
What was she selling?
She was selling comforters.
Okay.
Back in the early 80s.
Wow.
So I just remember as a kid doing my homework, and it's like, man, what am I doing here? While my mom was out there doing her thing, prospecting, door knocking, selling comforters, and doing it at a very high level. Now, remember, in the 80s, we didn't have the technology that we have now. So everything that she had a journal.
Okay.
And she would write all of her clientels and who owed what. And, every other week she would go and collect the money because they were like a payment plan.
Okay.
So if it was a queen or a king or a twin, she had her way of doing it, and she was very good. And, some of the key elements and components to that just kind of I absorbed, and I use that as a conversational piece because I humble myself every single day, and I realize the sacrifices our parents did for us to be able to live comfortably. Yeah. Even though I didn't have all the goods and what I wanted, I still devote and dedicate, and I thank and I love my parents for what they provided me.
Shout out to your parents. Shout out to Mr. and Miss Cazares,
yes.
For sure. Simon, I've had these thoughts recently of how lucky are we that we get it from the bottom.
That's right.
Some people may see that as a drawback, that others may have came from a family with money, opportunities. Yeah. They got maybe a head start, but us starting from the bottom, I think we're luckier. The reason is because we get to truly enjoy the journey when we make it to the top. Right? We're going to get to enjoy the struggles, the loses, the victories, and it just makes it so much sweeter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I commend your family for working hard. I have a similar background with my parents. They worked hard, gave me what they could, but it still wasn't exactly what I wanted.
Sure.
So I had to go out there and get it on my own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, 100%, Eric. I mean, I believe in the morals and the sacrifices, and it's that if you want it, you go after it,
That's why we say, if you truly believe it,
that's right.
It's already yours.
It's already yours.
It always comes back. The conversation always hits back there somewhere in the podcast, now, doesn't it, G? Shout out Gmoe behind the camera. He always gets a shout out.
My man. Yes.
So, Simon, I'm going to move into a couple of these questions here, all right?
Sure, absolutely.
So, we said in the introduction you're the leader of Keller Williams South Bay, but also coastal properties, right? Keller Williams South Bay. You're the team leader for that too.
Not the team leader. I'm the broker for that office. So just kind of giving you a little bit of history. So I've been with Keller Williams 10 years now. 10 beautiful years.
Nice.
And the philosophy of Keller Williams is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and the legacy worth leaving. And our core vision is to be the #1 real estate company of choice for our agents and their clients. But more so, the big core for me is the value: God, family, and business.
That's the core.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, Yes, I am the team leader for the KW South Bay Torrance office, and the broker of this office of an amazing 400 plus broker associates and sales associates. And I'm also privileged to be the broker of the coastal Long Beach KW office as well.
How many
with,
agents are over there?
A little over 300 agents as
Wow.
well. So it's definitely a big uniform, but I have the support that allows me to do what I need to do and, be good at it.
So we're looking at currently, you're already at the top of the ladder for 400 agents. It's going to maybe be 700?
Well, the goal this year is to break through and get to the 650.
Wow. Well, let's be exact, Simon. It's like 450, right? Something like that?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
roughly around 440, 41, 42 to be exact.
Gotcha.
In real estate, as we hire talent, there's agents that also leave the industry
course.
as well. So it's a give and take, right?
Yeah.
But the vision for 2024, Eric, is to really surpass my expectations. Every year we should all set goals in life, right?
Yes.
And for me, for this market center, is to really surpass and be the number one office in the South Bay.
It's going to happen. I'm going
Absolutely.
to be part of it. You're going to see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Simon, but you also invest in real estate, right?
I do. I
Okay.
do. I started real estate investing back in the day because that was my philosophy, that I wanted to understand the elements of it, and it's been a blessing. Now, real estate investing is not something that you immediately jump into, right? There's a lot of elements, hurdles, challenges that are involved with it, but it's calculated. Obviously, you get your feet a little wet, understand the elements of helping buyers and understanding the process, right? Ultimately, then you get to understand how real estate works.
Yeah.
And then more so holding real estate or investing, renovating, and then flipping to make a profit. So, yeah, I started this back in the early 2000s. And boy, oh boy, Eric, it was a challenge, and I hit a lot of walls and a lot of frustrations. But that's how you get better at what you do, right?
Exactly.
So, it's every project is unique and it's different.
Yeah.
No project is ever the same. The process may be the same, but personalities when working with contractors, and working with fellow investors and all that fun stuff, right? And working with agents as well, because I'll partner up with some agents or clients would say, hey, I found this property. What do you think? I would analyze them and make a determination if it's a good deal or not.
You got to wear a lot of hats, don't you?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Simon, what are some of the challenges that you face with leading over 440 agents, also investing in real estate? What are some of those challenges you face, and how do you overcome them?
Well, very good question, Eric. I think some of the biggest challenges that we have is supervising.
Right.
I mean, all of the agents are independent contractors, and it's having control of what they're doing. This is not your typical 9-to-5 job, right? So it's the challenge is the compliance aspect, the complexity of real estate, but more so it's just overseeing and supervising can sometimes be one of the frustrations, because as a team leader, it's recruiting, retention, and profitability for the office, but it's also from a team leader hat to a broker hat now is, the compliance, making sure that the agents are doing what they need to do, because their job is to also scale their business, right? And make, decent commissions. But, when dealing with transactions, different personalities, and involved with so many people, there's times where there's complaints. There's times where there's disagreements. There's times where you don't see eye to eye, and that's where my broker hat comes in, and I try to diffuse, be that referee per se.
And we've already had a little situation, how you and I did in December and stuff, and you managed that well. I saw how you were just, let me hear every side here.
That's right. And that goes to my values and my true vision of how I see things, you know, and I think I go back to my law enforcement career where I would deal with you know, the jail systems. So is I try to find the win in everything. You know, negotiations, Eric, is not just one-sided strong arming someone. Is can we win it together?
Right.
And that means the opposing agent, the opposing client, or brokerage involved. So it's just making the win from every aspect, because then we all thrive on it.
Right, right. So. And what's interesting, Simon, is negotiating, right? How I understand what you're saying as far as everybody winning, but I've read books like Negotiate to Win, or you hear sayings such as you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
That's right.
So I think it is important that everybody feels like they won, but do you think that maybe sometimes there's situations where one side did win a little more than the other, but the one of them was a better negotiator and made it feel like everybody won? Do you think there's kind of those situations?
100%. You know, and I'm a very competitive guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I always want to bat for my team, right?
Of course.
Especially if it's a competitor, right? You know, but you got to look at it from all angles and look at it from, okay, what is the best way, best strategy, and how do we get to the finish line, right? Because the agents desperately want to close the deals because they want to get paid their commissions.
Yeah.
The sellers want to sell their property. The buyers want to buy the properties. You know, escrow wants to close. Everyone is in the mercy, right, of the buyer and the seller closing and getting through the finish line. But yeah, you know, it is a very competitive industry and a competitive career to be in.
Yeah.
But you also have to have a tenacity, right, and an ability to, you know, look at different ways and not get the emotions.
Exactly.
The emotions in the real estate, which is very hard for a lot of people. This is why I try to stay very calm and collect, analyze the situation, but more so, Eric, you know, I try to diffuse or de-escalate before it gets even worse. Because once it gets chaotic, then that's when, you know, people want to throw attorneys into the to the pool, you know. So I tried, you know, with our risk management team, you know, we try to diffuse those type of situations.
Right. And the key, I think, Simon, is the emotion, like you said, because I remember being new into the business.
Yeah.
And seeing my mentor Dean Thomas, he would go into these crazy negotiations, real tough, right? Everybody's playing real hardball.
Yeah.
And it'd be with an agent he knows for 20 years, that they're friends, right? So, and then I'd see them go through this crazy negotiation, and at the end of the deal, everybody's happy, and then they're all good. Let's do another one, friend, right? So, that they didn't get emotional.
That's right.
They didn't get emotional. They just kept it business, batted for their team, got through the deal. You know, so it's interesting to see. You learn a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit it in the nail, Eric. I think you got to build, you know, that stern, firm position, right? But also you gotta play fair and friendly.
Of course.
Because I'm a true believer, Eric, that you never want to burn bridges.
No.
Never want to burn bridges, because you just never know. In this industry, doing this for so long, I, you know, build an amazing network of, you know, awesome people out there that know of Keller Williams, that know of Simon. And it's because I never burn bridges.
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to come across, Eric, days that you just feel beat down, knocked down to your knees. But that's where, you know, your ability to dust yourself and pick yourself is vital.
Absolutely.
But more so, it's up here. It's the mindset. The mindset can put your trajectory in places that you don't even know. It's like building that muscle, right? Yeah. It's all about the mindsets, especially what we do here in real estate.
Right. I agree with you, Simon. I think a lot of people don't realize how tough real estate is. You know, a lot of people come into the game. What do they say? 20% of the realtors do 80% of the business.
That's right.
Right. And I just think because the threshold to get your license isn't that crazy. Right. So as you have so many realtors, but I don't think people realize how crazy it is.
That's right.
You got to wear a lot of hats. You got to deal with a lot of people. And, you know, it's what we were saying. You got to learn to not be emotional with people who are being emotional themselves in an emotional situation, because you're dealing with their home. Right? You're dealing with their biggest asset. So it's really almost like an art
Right.
to figure this business out,
That's
know?
right.
So I love to see it,
And just to add to what you're saying, Eric, and you definitely put it in perspective. For me, when I hear an agent saying, Simon, hey, I have this situation, I have this problem, agents look at it from the inside looking out.
Yeah.
Where I look at it from the outside looking in. So I have a bigger perspective in how I can analyze the situation and diffuse the problems that occur. I try to think, 4, 5, 10 steps ahead and how we can maneuver this and ultimately get to the finish line, as we say. And sometimes it's tough, and sometimes you don't win. And you got to be okay with it.
Right.
You got to be okay because, again, is it going to go left? Is it going to go right? Or can we get through right in through the middle?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty, because real estate is such an amazing, amazing career. And it's because you just never know where your opportunity is going to come.
Right.
Where your next buyer, your next seller, your next investor, or possibly even your developer.
Right.
That's what makes this an awesome career to do.
Your next transaction is 3 feet in front of you.
That's right.
All the time. That's something that somebody taught me.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm going to get into a couple of these questions here, Simon.
Yes.
So, you answered the first one. So the second one here is, you guys answered the second one already. So, okay, here's a third one that's good. How do your initial aspirations, such as wanting to be a pilot and in law enforcement, influence your approach to real estate and leadership today?
I didn't know you were going to throw that one on me. Okay, now we're going deep.
You haven't gone over the pilot. You said law enforcement, right? So
that's true.
Tell them a little bit about.
We definitely got deep into the conversation.
We did.
It's very, very rare and few that I really talk about aviation. But yeah, that was really my first love.
Right.
Was to be an aviator. I wanted to be a pilot, not fly airlines, but I wanted to be a corporate pilot, and that was my key, that I'm going to be a pilot.
Yeah.
This is before law enforcement. This is before real estate. That was what I, as a little kid, wanted to envision myself as. Yeah, I wanted to be a pilot.
Flying in the sky.
And, I've been privileged to, complete my ground scoop back in 2006. And have a few hours, just a few hours of flight time, but never completed it. So that's one of my bucket list of things that I want to do and accomplish is, get my pilot's license.
You're going to do it, Simon.
I am. And you know what? I have a lot of good people that are pilots. And I even have agents that are dual career that are pilots for big airlines, so I got the connections.
Somewhere in your network, you're going to have that opportunity. But how did your training in law enforcement and your time as learning to be a pilot, does any of that stuff, any of that training influence your approach in real estate?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say it all the time, going through a rigorous training in the academy, the structure, the discipline, and team effort, because it's a team effort. It's not individual. It's a team effort. And this is why I love what I do, because in this office and the models and systems that Keller Williams has, it's a team effort. I cannot do it all by myself. And I have an amazing, amazing team that we collaborate, we talk, we mastermind, and, we pour into our agents.
Right. And that's something I learned as well, but with football growing up.
Okay.
Because I got into real estate at 18, so I've never done anything else. I'm 26 now.
You're a baby still, man. You're a young guy still.
I worked at a retail shoe store throughout high school, right? But I remember in football, it was like one person got caught doing something bad in class, the whole team's going to pay for it.
That's right.
Because that's how it is on the field during the game, right? Somebody doesn't make their block, everybody pays for it.
Oh, yeah. And I also have a football, basketball background growing up. That was the things that we did as kids.
Yeah.
And, the coaches were tough on us, But it also builds the muscle and the mentality, right? To mature and then ultimately decide what direction you want to go. If it's real estate, if it's aviation, or becoming a doctor or an
Yeah.
attorney, right? It starts with the principles and obviously, your devotion and dedication, because I'm not one to make excuses. And when I would hear excuses is, look, I didn't live in the best neighborhoods. I didn't grow up to have all of the luxuries that I wanted, and there was times that, mom couldn't make ends meet, where we
Yeah.
couldn't pay the rent. And, it just really humbles me because that was my driving force, but I could have made excuses. Well, it's a rough neighborhood. I think I'll go into this or in that. But I chose not to because
Yeah.
I had bigger plans in life.
And it's all, I think everything that leads up to where we are is all those small decisions, right? Who did you decide to hang out with?
That's right.
Who did you decide to, spend your weekend with? Because, yeah, I had those forks in the road too. Did I go left? Did I go right?
Yeah.
Those are the moments that I think determine where you end up. So I'm glad you ended up here, Simon.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
So I got another question for you here, okay? And I think this is a good one that a lot of realtors will get value out of.
Okay.
What do you think has made you stand out as a real estate professional over the years? And do you think those attributes can apply to a new realtor today who also wants to stand out?
That's a deep question there, Eric. I mean, now you're really going in it. You definitely have to be open, and you got to take the good from the bad, but more so you gotta humble yourself, okay? Because I've seen it where agents get into real estate and start making a little segue, a little bit of money, and they go chaotic.
Yeah.
And not really look at the financial aspect, because remember, a real estate professional is a business.
Yes.
This is why we have the Real Estate Millionaires book, right? This is the reason we have the economic models that help an agent understand how to grow, how to scale their business. And I didn't know that, in my 20s in real estate. I just thought chop away, and do as many deals. But I didn't know how to handle that in the beginning stages of it, because yes, I was good at it and I was closing deals, but money would come, money would go.
It's tough, Simon. You know what? I got to say I'm going to say be a little vulnerable that I'm in a position like that right now. My family, like we talked about, didn't come from money. They never had the opportunity to live in abundance, right?
Sure.
And, lately, past few years, I'm noticing more blessings and abundance in my life, which I'm grateful for. But I'm starting to see that I got to really learn how to manage it. Because, like you said, it comes in and it can go out even faster.
That's right.
So it's about, I think you're right. A lot of realtors need to learn how to manage their money, because it's like this. It's like
That's
this.
right.
It really is like this, and you gotta try to steady it out as much as you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially if you don't have a spouse that has a great income, or if you don't even have a spouse, it's just you or something like that. Because I know a lot of people manage that way. They'll be realtors and they know it's a ride, but they have a spouse that has a consistent income.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. I agree with you.
100%. And you said it well. This is real estate, unfortunately, right? Like the interest rates.
Right.
But how do you stay stable, right? Or how do you start scaling your business, right? Well, it really boils down to one thing, Eric. It's discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline. Sorry. It goes back to discipline, right? And knowing your numbers. You got to know your numbers. And obviously you have to have a goal. What is the goal for 2024, right? But then you got to break it down even more, right? What is your first quarter going to look like? Your second quarter going to look like? And really devote in what I believe is the magic pill is lead gen.
Yeah.
Prospecting, hitting your database, right? Connecting with past clients, door knocking, cold calling.
Right.
All of these elements is what's going to take you one step closer to finding that opportunity.
Right.
Because I said it earlier, real estate is simple but not easy. And I'm a true believer to that. If you are willing to put in the effort, believe me, abundance will come your way.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen overnight, Eric. It's your devotion and dedication to this industry, but you got to respect it as well.
Yeah.
And when you respect it, then you'll see doors open. Because remember, Eric, people will do business with you when they like you and trust you.
Right.
I was going to say love. A little bit of love too, right?
Yeah.
But in all honesty, that's the true nature of how people function.
Yeah.
You know, this is why you have an amazing relationship with your camera guy here, right?
Yeah.
You know, because you guys find something of common ground, right? In the many, many years you guys have been together. Just like I have very tight-knit friends that I consider family, right? But the more of everything, and to really succeed at a very high level in real estate, is you start connecting with as many people as you possibly can.
Right.
And not just the buyers and the sellers and the investors, but also other agents, you know, and rubbing elbows, networking with them, and exchanging information, right? Because I started my career just like I didn't want to do real estate, but then I said, you know what? Let me get more into it, and kind of out of curiosity. And so I started watching some of the heavy hitters. And as I told you, where I started my career was in the San Gabriel Valley.
Right.
You know, and yeah, you know, I started just watching and seeing what the top agents in the office were doing.
Right. And I think the common denominator, to like kind of bring it back to the question of what's going to make a real estate professional stand out, I think one of those things is consistency. People notice consistency, right? Like, you know, I like to do a lot of social media stuff, right? Before, when I was first starting out, I'd post on social media. You get 2 likes, you get the same 10 people watching your stuff, and it's a little discouraging, right? But I started to notice I never stopped posting, right? I always threw my little real estate stuff out there.
Yeah.
I started to notice after a few years, I started getting those calls, I started getting those messages, and I asked, why did you call me? What made you call me? Because I've been watching your stuff for years.
That's right.
So what stood out? It was the consistency.
That's right.
And you can apply consistency to many different strategies. Like, for example, right now, I'm marketing to a Golden Hills in Redondo Beach. That neighborhood has a lot of real estate activity.
Right.
So I started dropping off postcards once a month, just with real estate stats, local events, my face on there, right? And I decided that I'm going to do this every month for the rest of my career. And I've done it for about 10 months now. I haven't gotten any calls, but the wins that I've gotten are I've gotten to talk to a few of the people, and they go, oh, yeah, you're the guy. Yeah, I've seen this. Thank you. I appreciate this, you know? So to me, okay, I haven't gotten a listing, but that's the win, that they notice me and they recognize me. Right. And why do they do it? Because of the consistency. And that was my thinking coming into it. A lot of agents market that neighborhood because they know it's highly active. But I said, I'm going to be the most consistent one, and that's how I'm going to stand out, you know?
I love it. But it's so true, Eric, and I think again you hit it in the head, in the nail on this one, because again, consistency will take you places no one can stop you.
Right.
You know, and you know, the value of what you were saying is I'm going to do social presence, right? You become a celebrity without even knowing. People will start noticing you're that guy. I seen you on Facebook. I seen you on YouTube.
Yeah.
I seen you somewhere. You know, and that's how the population starts happening, and you become a popular person, right?
Yeah.
And then that triggers into opportunities.
I got to tell you.
But going, and I'm sorry, I just, because I have a passion for consistency, is that, you know, you just, a tree doesn't fall when you hit it one time.
Right.
A tree falls when you stay consistent and keep hitting it, and eventually that tree comes down. Well, that's how you have to look at your business as well.
100% agree. I gotta tell you, it's a good feeling when you start getting that recognition. Like, I remember because we grew up in Bell Gardens, right? And recently we went back to to perform and hype up the CIF title game. And it was cool because some of the teachers that I had back then that I hadn't seen in years, you're Eric, the real estate guy on Instagram. I got a few of those, and I was like, yes, I am. That's me. You know?
I love that.
So that's all the product, the consistency. So whatever I think any agent wants to do to market their business, whether it's cold calling or door knocking or social media, the key is don't stop.
Don't stop, baby.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to move on to another question here for you, Simon, okay? Okay, and this is more on the investment side. Can you share with us some of your more successful real estate strategies and projects, and what made them so rewarding?
Good question. Obviously, it's all numbers, no emotions, right? If you can find the right property that makes sense, right? And it's not rocket science, right? And when you do and been in real estate long enough, you know that real estate will continue going up.
Yeah.
You may have some years that it doesn't go as fast, but you hold on to real estate, that asset in the future will be worth more money.
Right.
You know, and I think of real estate like a piggy bank. Every time you pay your mortgage, it's reducing, obviously, your mortgage balance, right? But also you're looking at it from a bigger perspective, is that, you know, that property in the future is also going to be worth more money.
Right.
You know, and when that mortgage is completely paid off, you don't have no more mortgage.
Right.
So now you're sitting on a piggy bank that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Now, it doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with one property. And then that one property goes to 2, 3, 4, and 5, and so on and so forth. I mean, think about it, Eric. The most successful people in this planet have built their wealth through real estate.
Right.
So those are one of the elements that I truly believe is buy something.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait until the market gets better, because the market is great anytime.
Right.
Okay. Properties, you got to go out there and identify them. Okay. Find that gem. Yeah, that is in a great neighborhood, great school, right? Or has potential, and inquire it.
Yeah. What do they say the best time to buy real estate was 10 years ago and today?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I love that. But it's so true, you know. When I look, I mean, there's on the weekends too, Eric. On the weekends, I'm driving in the neighborhoods, areas where I envision myself of wanting to live or wanting to buy.
Yeah.
And I'll look at, you know, rough properties that need a little bit of TLC and see if I can inquire that property.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to get a lot of no's before you get a yes. No difference than what we do in real estate, right? And this is what I coach agents, is that, you know, you're going to get a lot of buyers, sellers, and investors that are not ready to buy, not ready to sell, but you got to continuously, right? Continuously go out there and find the motivated buyers and sellers. But finding a great property, making sure that it is at the right price, but understand the elements of the arithmetic of it, right? The calculations, and then what you can sell the property for a profit, because that's what the whole purpose is that's another level of passive income that you can make. Sell real estate, right, and earn the commissions. And, you know, we have some amazing agents that do really, really well, but they also have their side hustle and do real estate investments.
And Simon, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Share with us a good project where you made a good profit, and give us the example. Give us the walkthrough.
Okay, so this was probably prior to 2008.
Okay.
I had inquired my first apartment complex in the city of Ontario.
Okay.
I had bought it from the seller directly, and ironically, Eric, how I inquired this apartment complex was through a good friend of mine who was a title rep.
Okay.
And his wife was the uncle of the fourplex apartment in Ontario. He was up in age. He wanted to slow down, and he wanted to delinquish some of his investment portfolio. So he said, hey, there's an opportunity for an apartment complex in the city of Ontario.
How many units?
4 units.
Okay.
So drove the neighborhood, and they looked a little tired.
Yeah.
But I saw the potential. Now, this was 2004, okay? And I said, okay, it's Ontario, which is the San Bernardino County.
Right.
The rents were low, but it's still enough revenue to pay the mortgage.
Okay.
Now, I bought these apartment complex for $385,000.
Wow.
Which is unheard of now. Where can
Correct.
you find multifamily for $380,000?
Not in California.
This is again 2004. So closed on the deal, and now had this apartment complex, and then I kind of had two hats, right? I was owner of an apartment complex, but I was also property management, which I don't recommend. Hire and leverage yourself to have someone that does it at a very high level to property manage. But anyways, I inquired the apartments. I started doing a little bit of renovations. When one tenant would vacate, because I ultimately raised the rent, I would go in there and put carpet, paints, do the kitchen, the bathroom, and these were a beautiful, beautiful apartment complex. It was like a townhome style. It was a 2-story, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and a half bathroom downstairs. So I was excited. It's like, man, this is cool. Every month I was there collecting the rents, and the mortgage was being paid, and I was getting a very small profit. So it was like, yeah, this definitely works.
Right.
And then I kid you not, Eric, maybe not even a year and a half, one of the owners that own an apartment complex put the property for sale, and I was like, what? He put it for that amount? And it was pending, and it was in escrow. So I thought, wow, I bought it for this. He's in escrow for this. I'm curious to see what it sells for. So I waited. And ultimately and it was the same apartment complex, because the whole street was the same type of apartment complex. Well, I made the dumbest mistake, which I ended up selling them. I ended up selling them. Now, I definitely made very good money when I sold them, because I almost tripled what I bought them for.
Wow.
Because back in 2004, property values started going up before the market ultimately tanked and stabilized and went down in 2008. So I sold them just in the nick of time.
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, the buyer that bought them from me ended up getting foreclosed on, because I sold them at the top of the market. And and that's how I kind of started venturing into investment, because I had the capital now from selling an apartment complex. But I share this story with you, Eric, because it was a reminder for me that I should have never sold those.
Gotcha.
By this time, they would have been free and clear. The last time, because I check on that property, the last time it was sold, I think about 2 years ago, and it was like $1.2 million.
Wow. And you had it for $385 in 2004.
That's right. In
Wow.
2004.
Yeah.
$385,000.
Yeah.
Imagine from that to then, right?
Yeah.
What it would have been worth. But no one knows, right? We can never predict the future, right? But the essence of real estate is it's always a great time to buy. So that's one of my biggest ahas that I got in my real estate investment, is that apartment complex in the city of Ontario.
Nice. That's going to be a staple for you, huh?
That's
in your
right.
story. And what do you say to those people out there, Simon, like right now that say there's no deals? You hear some people with that attitude of, man, there's no good deals out there anymore.
Well, I say you're wrong, because deals are out there.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to dig a little deeper. You got to work a little harder. You got to talk a little bit more. But people are buying, people are selling, and people are investing.
For sure.
Okay, just like We need police officers, firefighters, teachers, pilots, attorneys. We need real estate professionals. Now it's a numbers game, right? At the end of the day, the more you go out there and in the trenches of connecting, one of those opportunities is going to hit. I'm a true believer to the philosophy of cold, warm, and hot, right? And it's the conversational aspect, but I also like when you're looking at a property. Oh, this house is a little too cold, a little too, or it's maybe warm, or man, this property hits all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
right? It's a hot. I want to pull the trigger, right? But that's the motivation that you need to encourage. But it's your job as a real estate professional, right, to really inspire the reasoning behind buying a property,
Right.
Don't worry about what the interest rate dictates right now. Buy the property. Remember, rates come and go, come up and down, right? Refinance in the future.
And that's something that I've recently had a light bulb go off for me, Simon. Is what you just said is inspiring the idea of the transaction, right? Because I've seen agents talk to a property owner that wasn't thinking about selling, but you go, Mr. Property Owner, I have this great idea or great strategy for you. Sell this, buy this instead, and look at how you're going to multiply your money.
That's right.
Right? And inspiring the idea of the sale, So that's something I'm like, well, if somebody tells me no, then it's a no. But no, well, what are you offering them? That's going to make them say yes,
Right.
So that's something I've noticed that's changed,
Yeah.
in my perspective, at least,
Yeah.
So let me run into another question here, Simon. And this is kind of more of a little bit more on the bigger scale of real estate. What do you see in the future of the real estate market, like say the next 10 years, generally with like technology, and there's all these crazy stuff going on with NAR, all these lawsuits, and now there's all these virtual brokerages and things like that. Like, what do you see as far as a big shift in the real estate field in the next 10 years per se?
Well, what I can say is don't fear it. Just absorb it, right?
Yeah.
Meaning just handle it. You cannot predict the future, but you can't be afraid. You just got to be in the trenches every single day, doing what you need to do, what I consider stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And go after market share, because again, we can't predict what that holds. Technology has definitely enhanced in how we do business. When I started real estate, we didn't have websites and smartphones
Or any of this.
and any of this stuff. All of our negotiations were in front of the seller. If we had an offer to present, we would call the listing agent and say, hey, I'm Simon with Keller Williams. We'd like to present an offer to
Fax
your
it
client.
over.
Fax was one of them, but more my style was to meet in person.
Gotcha.
Imagine if we were to go back to those times when we would literally go and present an offer to the listing agent and the sellers right there. We were going on an interview and trying to get an offer accepted while your clients were outside sometimes waiting to see if your offer got accepted or not. But that was the way we used to do real estate. Technology has definitely defined and helped us leverage, right? But I love it. I'm not the most tech savvy. I still believe in the good old face-to-face interaction because I get to see you.
Yeah.
I get to see your expression. I get to see body language, but I also have eye interaction, right? Because, the importance of that is vital.
Tonality. I think that's a huge part of it. Like, if you send a text message to somebody and you have something kind of a little serious to say, like, I try to put an emoji to try to, express the feeling of the message, but it's nothing like the face-to-face conversation.
Well, and remember, text, emails sometimes can go in a different direction. You may not intentionally send it that way, but they may take it that way.
Right.
So for me, all honesty, Eric, is pick up the phone and just talk to them.
I would agree.
And a lot of the The newer generation, unfortunately, don't see that. They text and email.
Yeah.
Which gives us a more streamlined process, right, to do business, because we can do more with like DocuSign, like your websites, like Leads, your client relations management tools, like Command that we have here at KW, right? So it definitely enhances the ability for you to do more business.
Yeah.
But I'm an old school guy, man.
I get you.
You know,
What do you see coming with AI, Simon, in real estate? AI is huge right now. I've actually been using it a lot, ChatGPT and AI for editing, AI for creating. But like, what's your perspective on AI and real estate?
Well, look at what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need a big production, right? You don't even need a big, large budget to do what, you know, we can do, because marketing is vital and important in our industry, right? The more you do, the more eyes on you, the more people are going to know of you. So
Right.
I think it's a great segue to enhance it and embrace it and say, yeah, you know what, this is the new norm now.
Yeah, I think a key thing that somebody told me one day is a tool is only as good as the person using it.
That's right.
Because there's
That's so true.
so many tools out there, right? When you think about it's overwhelming when you think as a realtor, all these people trying to market to you, their CRM, their Facebook marketing strategy, yada, yada, yada. It's all great. If you use any of them and apply it well, it's going to work.
Sure.
But it's only as good as the person using it. We all know that ChatGPT is revolutionary somehow. It's going to help somebody, but how do you apply it to your business? That's going to make the difference, you know?
Yeah, 100%, Eric. I mean, you hit it again. I mean, you know, we can throw all this technology, all these platforms, right? But if you're not utilizing it at a very high level, it's just going to be put to the side,
Exactly.
right? But that's why, you know, understanding what you need and what you don't need, because you're right. You know, we got, you know, the MLS, right? You got websites, you got your zip forms, you have your Supra, right? You have your social media platforms and other platforms that you use. But are you really using it purposefully, you know, in with intentions, right? So yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you can really leverage yourself.
I would agree. Let's see what people decide to use and where it goes. I'm excited about AI though.
That's right.
Really excited about AI. We can see where it goes in 10 years. I got one more question for you here as part of the interview, Simon. Then I got a few more wrap-up segments over here, but we're inching toward the end. Looking back at your journey now, what advice would you give your younger self when you were starting out in the real estate industry?
Yeah, you know, that's a very good question. What I would tell myself is watch your spending. Definitely watch your spending, and more so invest in yourself and invest in your future. I made a lot of mistakes, but I also got a lot of wins. The challenge, you know, is that if you're not consistent in it, then you're not going to see the results.
Right.
But if I can go back in time and talk to me, you know, when I started real estate, is do the activities, do them at a very high level. As you're earning commission, make sure that you save for those months, those quarters where you're dry, where you're not closing deals left and right, and have a balance, right? Don't over excurge yourself in, you know, thinking you need all of this stuff, you know. Just start with the basics. Chip away every single day. Buy your first investment property or your personal property, you know, and build from there.
Gotcha. Young realtors, did you guys get that? Make sure you took note of that for sure. So, Simon, now I got a few more little wrap-up sections here. Okay. Something fun. I like to go to my guest's first Instagram post. And so I scrolled all the way down your Instagram, and I want you to tell me what's going on. What's going on with these posts here? This is the first one. It's August 12th, 2018.
Oh.
It's a screenshot.
Wow, 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 wow. Yes.
So
Yes,
for the
yes.
audience, it's Simon sitting looking very classy with a suit, a drink next to him. It says redemption and my life against the wall. What's going on here?
That's amazing. Wow, we're going way back. Honestly, I didn't even know that photo was actually taken in Vegas.
Okay.
That was in Vegas. I was privy to be in a penthouse. I had connections, and the person that owned this penthouse says, "Look, you're going to be in Vegas. Use my penthouse. Gorgeous, gorgeous penthouse. Had two full bedrooms, spacious kitchen overlooking the entire strip. Amazing views. And I had invited a guest over, and this guest popped a photo that
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Because I was just waiting, because we were waiting to go to have dinner,
Okay.
and it was going to be a group of people that were going to go to this Brazilian steakhouse. So we were waiting, and yeah, that's how that photo came about. So when I received it, I go, wow, you know what? I've never seen myself in that light,
Right.
in that angle. So
Is this one another one in that penthouse? I went a little more.
Yes.
Gotcha. So it's another one, Simon looking fly.
Yes,
And then you
thanks.
just put a nice quote on there. Persistence can overcome almost any challenge, which
That's
is what we
right.
were talking about.
That's right.
Yeah. So it hasn't changed.
It has not changed, and
Gotcha.
it won't change.
And then there's another one here too. Just right here, just chilling, kind of there. So
That was actually that was at a flight simulator
Oh,
out
gotcha.
in Orange County. That photo was taken. Those are actual seats from an airline.
okay.
You know, I don't remember what airline those seats came out of, but that was exactly in Orange County.
Cool. Well, I wanted to bring some nostalgic vibes to you, Simon. I'm sure I got your mind running from those memories, huh?
Yeah.
So I got another fun segment here. I call it the rapid fire questions. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Just it's a quick response. Whatever comes to your head first, it's just gonna let the audience get to know you a little better.
Okay.
All right. So you ready?
All right. Ready.
Okay. Going out or staying in?
Going out.
Describe your style in 1 to 5 words.
Persistent.
I love that. Go to fast food spot.
Mediterranean.
Nice. You like chicken maison?
I do.
Ooh, that's my spot.
I do.
love
My
that.
second choice is Thai food.
Okay, gotcha. You got to show me some good Thai food around here.
That's right.
Overspending or oversaving?
Oversaving.
There you go. Your current favorite music artist?
I have to go back to the old school 80s. I'm a Stevie B guy.
All right, I have no idea who that is.
Diamond Girl, baby.
Diamond Girl. All right, last one. Finish this phrase. The way to my heart is...
Food.
Ah, there you go. Some good Mediterranean or Thai food. All right, last couple wrap-up questions here, Simon. What are your big goals for the next 12 months?
Big goals. Good question, Eric. Obviously, as I said early on the segment, is grow this office, agent count, be the best version of myself, retention, making sure that we are speaking to all of our agents and making sure that we hear our agents and helping them thrive, and reaching to that $1 million mindset, because all of us in real estate can definitely inquire that if you choose to. So having the right, the right attitude, obviously, but to grow the market center, connect with more people, and make the company very profitable.
I love how your goal is about others. You didn't mention yourself once.
And I go back to the mentality of team effort. It was an individual, it was a team effort.
Yeah.
So that's just the core of who I am.
I think when you share the love, help others, and take that approach, it comes back to you naturally. You know?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
that's
sir.
what's up. I like that. Any shout outs or acknowledgments you'd like to throw out there?
Well, for you, thank you. I appreciate you tremendously for allowing me to be on your podcast and do this. I didn't know what angle this was gonna go, but I hope I was impactful. I inspire or motivate someone.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for an opportunity, we have free real estate school here, and we have great synergy.
Yeah.
And awesome agents like yourself, Eric.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you. And shout out to everybody at Keller Williams South Bay.
That's right.
Shout out to the amazing staff. Shout out to Simon. Shout out everybody here. Shout out Gmoe behind the camera.
Yes, sir.
Okay, last question, Simon. Where can people follow you and learn more about you?
You got to talk to my office. I don't know that answer. That's where I leverage myself. I just show up. That's all. You tell me where you want me, I show up. I don't know the technology aspect, but you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a good following on LinkedIn as well, and here in Keller Williams South Bay.
Yeah, honestly, I googled your name. It came up pretty easily.
Okay.
So Google Simon Cazares, Keller Williams South Bay. You're gonna find tons of information.
Beautiful.
Right? But that's pretty much it for me, Simon. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Eric Lauder. This was another episode of the Let's Get Real podcast. I'm Eric Lauder, your favorite realtor, a.k.a. Cloud E, or non-generic Eric, because I keep it real with you. I'll see you guys next time.